So we are here at Craft Conference with Nivia, and we've been talking a bit about Agile and Agile frameworks. And when I mentioned SAFe, we're really unhappy with it. And what I basically said is to create a good Agile team, it's not enough to have a framework, because a framework, like having the same meetings all the time, is not going to create a culture that is Agile.
Hard agree. So for full disclosure, I worked for a consulting company and we had to get SAFe certified. And so I feel like I have insider knowledge to amplify your point. The thing you said specifically that had me cheering was like, you can't buy culture. You have to build culture. And the problem, in my opinion, with SAFe is it tries to package and buy culture. Can you imagine? Imagine any other true practice or culture, and imagine putting a retail price on that and trying to replicate it. That seems silly.
I wonder what is the allure of buying these frameworks, right? Because my experience is that whenever I go to conferences, there is someone talking about, Agile has been used, like the word has lost its meaning. Like every single conference we hear that.
Yeah.
And I go to every single conference and someone is going to say something not so nice about SAFe specifically, or Scrum, or any other framework out there, and everyone is like, it's something that people buy, but it's not really about it. It's about culture. But companies still keep buying it. Why?
Excellent question. I think the why is legitimacy. I think there's a perception that you can buy the legitimacy. I remember when I was a consultant, the idea that if you are a bank, if you're a financial institution, and you can just literally demonstrate how forward and modern you are by implementing SAFe. Literally, companies used to recruit. Oh, we have SAFe now. That means we're a different culture. We're not old banks anymore. This and that, and that's, to me, I think that's still the selling point.
As you said, like it's something that we can say, like repeat over and over and over again. We are SAFe. We are Agile. We use Scrum. Our teams are empowered. All these like
buzzwords.
When it comes to really building the team that works, it's not about these buzzwords. Then you really have to do the work.
Yes.
But to get the workforce into the room, it's enough to have the buzzwords. When it comes to actually building something with those people, then you have to put in the real work.
Yes.
And that's much harder. That's what I'm trying to do, right? When I come in as a consultant, I'm trying to get people to understand that they really need to start thinking about what makes that an agile team work. And for me, the kind of the framework that I always go back to is actually the scientific method. Like it's really simple. Just create a hypothesis, test it, and learn from it. Right? And we just have to learn that one thing. And every team can have a different process. You don't have to have a unified process across a company. You can have a different process for every team. The important part is that you have that really rigorous learning process in place.
Rigorous learning process, exactly, the scientific method. We all met on a conversation about diversity intersectionality earlier, but the theme that keeps coming up is the notion of like, we need to get back to basics. We need to think more like scientists. For this particular moment in this particular topic, there is already a framework that works, actually, and it is the scientific method. I think XP originally, and maybe even Scrum, started out with those roots. And then somewhere along the way, like you said, the marketing and consulting just got ahead of it, and here we are.
I heard a really nice phrase, Spotipaste.
Yes.
Can you guess what it is?
I've never heard that one before. So I work for Spotify. Long ago, we invested in sharing out to the rest of the world how we work, how our engineering culture works. And I think that was part of why I wanted to work for it is for that reason. And a lot of it is largely true. But the reality is that it was much more organic. And unfortunately, the takeaway from those videos became, oh, all I have to do is name things, certain things, like Spotify did, Spotipaste, the Spotify model. All I have to do is that, and then now I'm like Spotify. And the answer is no, that's not the lesson. The lesson is we use the scientific method to experiment, to learn, to get feedback, and then we share that. So instead of spotted paste, just do that part, do the experimentation, the learning, and then you'll have your own solution.
So exactly, that's what I usually say to people, that the Spotify model is not what you heard. The real Spotify model is the scientific method. That you just learn and create your own process that is different, because every company is different, every team is different. You can't have a one size fits all. Right?
Oh, sorry. This just means agree. I don't want to interrupt events, so now I'm just going to do gestures like.
Okay, so and basically, as you mentioned, we started out the whole conversation from diversity. Notice that we had the same problem with Agile and with diversity. We do the marketing. We are selling that we are Agile. We are selling that we are have diversity and inclusion, but we fail to do the work of actually creating the culture that is inclusive, diverse, and agile.
I love that insight. I hadn't heard it put that way before, and it strongly resonates. It's exactly why I think the same thing is happening to diversity and inclusion efforts, where we're seeing a decline and a divestment in those strategies, which is, terrible, but it's because all we've done is packaged it and marketed it, and ultimately it's failing us because we're not doing the real work. The marketing works, so how are you going to then thwart the marketing? In other words, companies want that package, they want that stamp, and you're coming and you're selling hard work, you're selling dedication, and so then how are you going to compete against that?
You probably already did the marketing, right? And you're already have resentment in your team about agile and about any of these processes. What I want to come in for, working closely with your engineering managers, is learning how to create that culture, learning how to iterate over it, so that once you understand what it means to build up an agile culture, then you can do it for yourself.
I mean, I would buy it. That message resonates. So there.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this discussion with Nivia. If you did and you would like to learn how to build a successful engineering culture, subscribe. Or you can watch this next video here about how you can finish a 7-month project in just 7 days. Bye!